So the amount of resources and the way that you help people with financial literacy, teaching them how to manage their money properly and budget, teaching them how to ultimately get them connected with proper accounting and proper financial services to invest their money long term, helping them develop their EQ and their emotional intelligence for leadership, communication, interpersonal skills, helping people have better marriages, better family lives, better mental health, helping people appreciate value to be able to get raises in their jobs. So in the equation, in the statistic of the 99% of people don't make a lot of money in network marketing, that's accurate. But there's an entire profession that uses statistics to manipulate people. It's called politicians. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're from. You can put a stat together on anything. But the thing is, if I work with somebody and my goal, the way I make money is by them building a big network marketing business. But if they're participating and they're able to get raises in their job because of skills they've learned or their confidence appreciating at $5,000, $10,000 a year, if you're spending a few thousand, you're a net positive in your life. So I think that the most important thing that you're looking for is how robust is the mentorship and leadership training system and what's the culture around it. Because the other thing is, if you scan all the negative Reddit threads, all the negative about it, I don't even disagree with most of the negative. And I'm a big guy in network marketing. I don't disagree with most of it. You're going to transactionalize all your family and friends. Yeah, that's pretty shitty. Of course, that's not a great way to go about things. You're going to, tell people that they should miss their brother's wedding to go to an Amway conference. Like, what the hell are we talking about here? So
right. Yeah.
You have to have the right culture, and you also can't squish people's ideas, like you were saying, D-Rex. I mean, thankfully they haven't kicked me out yet. Who knows? But
that's a great point, because IMO, MLM, that it's what a fine line, right? I mean, if you want to make something happen, you're going to make it by coming to this conference. Okay. But then where's the line where it says, well,
correct,
be a human, right? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so, looking at what that culture is, I think is important. The difficult part is you can't judge someone's character, what only God knows, and say, oh, what they're saying, the reason why they have an excuse is legitimate or not, so you have to be like, okay with that being on them.
Right.
And it doesn't, like, it shouldn't, you probably do so well with so many people because you can put that accountability on them, but you don't have to dwell on it for them to where, whatever way they decide to go, you're still consistent and you're still building at the same time. I mean, it's important to do that. So I don't know where I was going with that. I was just interrupting for some reason, but please continue.
Well, the other thing is like, you're right. The values are very, very important because
thank you. Oh, dang it. You're talking to Anthony.
Your values are terrible. No, but like the values are so important because, I mean, the goal in network marketing, that if I recall as a kid, was to build a business so you don't have to work and your children don't have to work.
Correct.
Right. And if you're saying to them, dude, if you don't go to this meeting tonight, I'm like, well, I got to be at church. Well, this is more important. No, that's not what I'm, Look, we went to listen, I've been to every friggin' rah-rah meeting that you can name. I've been to we used to go to this conference up in the Catskills, up in Grossinger's, which is a big resort up in the Catskills. And it would be a big Amway event. I would go to go skiing. Obviously I was a kid. And we, and every Tuesday night, my mom would go to her meeting, but there was also a great family vibe because everything was done as a family.
Yep.
Right. And that's what I really appreciated it. However, it's gotten a bad name because there's a few bad apples in the bunch. Right.
Sure.
I had a guy pitching me this business one time and he's like, oh, your wife's got to hear it. So, we get on the phone and my wife hates multi-level marketing, hates it just with a passion. And there's a lot out there I'm sure you can make a ton of money with, but she just doesn't believe it, which is fine. One of the number one things she hates about it is every single one you got to sign up. It costs money to sign up, and then you got to join the auto ship, which costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a month or whatever, whatever. But this guy gets on the phone. Now, I'm a sales guy. I've been in sales since 1992. Majority of it was in the car business, so you're not going to close a closer. It's not happening.
Yep.
So this guy's pitching, and he thinks he can pitch around me to my wife.
Oh, God.
And she's sitting right there at the table with me, and he goes, so you're telling me if someone kidnapped one of your kids and they wanted $1,500, you wouldn't pay it? And she's like, are you trying to compare your crappy product for $1,500 to one of my children. She's like, have a good day. Click, hangs up.
I mean, you just said he was
Oh.
trying to pitch around you. I mean, that just doesn't sound good, too.
Right. Because he realized he wasn't going to close me. I at first was very interested because it had a really good pay plan, a very good building. I just wasn't sold on. I mean, the startup cost was $1,500. I'm like,
It's a lot.
come on, bro.
It's a lot.
I can go to Amway for $99 if I wanted to, just to become a distributor. You know,
So it's for free now. Amway doesn't even charge you the first year.
right. And when they did, what was it? When they went Star,
Quick Start.
Quick Star, yeah. The Quick Star was, I think it was, I don't know, it was super cheap. It was $99. I think it was $99 because it was $99. It came out.
Man. Yeah, but you
Was
can get
it
it free through your
$49? Whatever.
Half
But
off.
anyway, you know, it like that to me, like when I was in the automobile business, you never ever pitch around. You
Right.
treat them as equals.
Totally.
You touch on the buttons that you see that are hot for them.
Sure.
You find the hot spots. You get them excited. Take away. Blah 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 blah. But you would never hear me say something like, "Dude, do you not wear the pants in the family?" Because that's an automatic. Just
That's
I deserve to get
offensive.
punched in the face.
It's
You know, just
offensive.
go ahead and punch me. So you know, so
There's
that's
there's a right way to do that. And it's not
Correct.
saying like it's not saying those things. It's more like when a spouse decision needs to be in tune with who you're selling to. It's to ask if legitimately
one of
if
the
your
worst
spouse
things-
would support what you
That's
are
it.
trying to achieve. Right? Does your spouse want you to be at home with the kids and income? Does she?
Right.
Okay. This is what I'm bringing to you.
So
Okay, so
the business I'm in now-
so if that's what she wants, then I think maybe have that conversation, but it's definitely consistent. It's not counterintuitive long term, other than whatever the surface hesitations are.
So the business I'm in now it can be a high ticket item, and 99% of the time when I'm at somebody's house, it's during the day. So one spouse is home, either the husband or the wife. Sometimes I get lucky and the husband's like, look, my wife doesn't care. I'm buying it right now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. But like today I was doing my presentation. I showed her what the cost was and everything. And I said, is there somebody you need to talk it over with? Yes, my mom and my mom's not here right now. Fantastic. Because the rule in my house is we don't spend over $100 without talking to each other.
Totally.
Right. So I have that empathy, I guess.
Right.
And like, it sometimes drives the company sales trainer crazy because they want us to be one-stop close. Well, that's not my style, right?
No.
And I'm also the number one salesman in the company because people like that I'm not a high pressure guy.
Right.
So if people could just learn that aspect, the problem is with multi-level marketing, and this is the problem. Everybody, you go pitch it, and if you're going to let them sit and think about it, they're going to call everybody, their aunt, their uncle, their cousin, their sister, their brother, and everybody else, and they're all going to be like, are you kidding me? It's a scam. You'll never make a dime. And then they're done. They're burned.
Well, I think that goes back to what Anthony said. You should take advice from the people who have done successfully what you're trying to achieve.
1,000,000%.
No
You gotta
problem.
train. You got to train people, So first off, on the one thing you said, because I'm going to start forgetting a few things I want to make sure I mention,
Go
was
ahead.
just because something's effective doesn't mean you should do it. Just because it's effective, it's not ethical. So
Right.
yeah, totally. Yeah. Maybe you will close a higher percentage of sales, and there's a percentage of people that are going to use my wife or husband as an objection, as a smokescreen. But what's the alternative? You're going to force them into a sale they regret doing, and then they're going to feel bad. And it doesn't make any sense, So just because something works doesn't mean you should be doing it, first of all. And I think a lot of people, they miss that. Second thing is, first off, a company for $1,500 startup, that's where you have predatory practices. If there's a startup fee of that much money, that means someone's making a huge vig, and that moves the incentive, right? I believe that if you incentivize bad human behavior, you get bad human behavior, right? So if you incentivize somebody to make $1,000 for everyone you sign up, you've moved the incentive for, is this the right thing mutually for both people, to how many people can I get to make $1,000? You've moved the incentive, and the incentive structure is just wrong. Auto ship stuff, same thing. Minimum quotas on companies, it's unethical. It's not illegal, but it's unethical in my opinion.
Auto ship, yeah, that was a big one that was huge when that came out in e-commerce. Like a lot of, I think like 07, 08 was kind of started to get really, really big.
Yeah,
and I was doing supplements e-com, and that was the thing. Like I could offer that, but I'm like, dude, it wasn't even at that point. It didn't even make my ethical consideration, because I'm like, the amount of buyer's remorse and returns and headaches I'm going to get for this
Totally.
are probably going to, not saying it's not profitable and effective if you have the right resources in place. Amazon does it, right?
I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. I use the subscribe thing on Amazon all the time.
Sure.
But it's something I know I'm going to use every month.
You chose it. You know,
I haven't even tried your product yet. So how can you tell me I got to buy it for $3.99 every month?
It's crazy.
And it's some freaking eye cream or whatever, you know.
Fundamentally, I feel like there's been a big loss of what's the proper approach in doing something like this. And the reality is, you are either going to on the back a few things. Someone says they have something, you have to give the most generous interpretation, the most generous. Just assume people are truthful. If you assume someone's truthful all the time, if they're lying, it's going to come to pass. You're going to find out. That's on them. But if you assume someone's lying when they're truthful, you're an asshole. You just have to assume people are being truthful, you know? So
you never worked in the car business because all buyers are liars.
Yeah, well, you know, but you have to find a way where also in network marketing, when done properly, it needs to be a mutual commitment, and they need to be very, very well aware of the negative stigma, educated about the differences. They have to know that it's not a high reputation thing, because if you play smoke and mirrors games, all they're going to do is find that out in real life, and then they're going to quit anyway. And that's why most network marketing companies have a 90% attrition rate year over year. So every 100 people they sign up, 90 people are quitting. I mean, you know, so you have to have some type of qualification, vetting, education process, something on the front end where people are having time to get to know you. You're getting to know them. They understand what this is going to take. They understand this fake pitching of 5 hours a week, you know, and part-time in 2 years, you're going to make $1 million. First of all, it's highly illegal. You know, I mean, anybody that makes income claims and stuff without justifying and talking about the percentages and outcome, they're going to get flagged by the FTC and all the different regulatory agencies. But it's unethical. Forget being slapped on the wrist. You have to honestly represent what something is, the work it's going to take, the pros and cons of it. And if someone's going to be scared because of the cons, that's the right thing to do. Because either way, you're not looking to make someone walk 360. People's time's valuable, you know, and walking 3 months down a path that we could have found out day one with honesty wasn't the right path. I'd rather not sign up 1,000 of those people and keep my integrity and keep their time honored properly, and then just explain things as they actually are.
So looking at the businesses, all right, here's a, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. All right. For you, in your opinion, we know what you're looking for. Top 3 businesses you've looked at and said, these are ones I'd lock into.
Yeah, I think I've done Amway for a long time, so there's probably a little bit of bias there. But Amway's the biggest. I think that they have one of the most brilliant compensation plans. They have longevity. There's Herbalife, I think, is a great company. You know, I think that their biggest shortcoming is they're publicly traded. So there's a lot of speculation. I'm not looking to get sued here, but the whole FTC, the whole class action lawsuit. If you can short somebody's stock and then you can create a narrative, you're gonna have manipulation that happens. Sure. So I think Herbalife is a great company. Those are the top 2 that I would say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people love Melaleuca. You know, I don't know much about him, but a lot of people love Melaleuca's stuff. But I'm not really, you know, and I know of a lot of them, but would I recommend them? I would recommend the person much more.
What about Live Green?
Live Green, I don't know much about Live Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic product. Fantastic system, and another thing about like the company going like bankrupt or whatnot. Like, what about companies that decide to, right in the middle of the hierarchy, just disrupt the sales channel and go direct to consumer? You know, like, have you experienced that before?
I haven't, but Avon did that, and it totally messed up the whole thing that they had going on. That's one of the unique things. Because of Amway, the way that they run things is they have an internal board that's elected of people that are at that diamond and above level. And there's a collaborative discussion before changes are made. So I don't really, and I've done a lot of research, and I don't know if it's partially because I'm biased, you know, because I can't say that for certain. But as far as I can see logically, I don't see a better choice than Amway, because you have companies, there's some companies I've seen that they pay more money but their product prices are so inflated and the quality of the product isn't good. So yeah, there's more margin because if you have an inferior quality product that you're charging above market value, that's obviously going to create profit, but I don't think that that's a better thing. I've seen a lot of companies that have a lot of great stuff in them. They don't have quite as wide of a product array. You know, you want to have a wide array of stuff. If you're going to niche down just to cosmetics like Mary Kay, none of us are signing up for Mary Kay, most likely, you know? So I do think that Amway, if I were to go back to the drawing board, I still would pick Amway.
Well, you know, it's funny. When my first wife was thinking about getting involved in what is it? Pampered Chef.
Oh, Pampered Chef, yeah. Warren Buffett invested in that.
Right. I went to a couple meetings with her to check it out. Blah blah blah. The people who did the best actually in Pampered Chef were guys.
Sure.
I don't know. It was one of those weird things. But I just found that very interesting. I also heard that a lot of guys do well, especially if they own a salon or something, in like Mary Kay or Avon.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you know, proof's in the pudding. If they're a makeup artist, why wouldn't they?
Right. That makes sense.
You know, I have a friend who's actually, and I'm trying to look up. I want to say she's in Melaleuca, or she might be in the other one you mentioned, but she's number 8 in North America.
That's serious.
Yeah.
I mean, those are big companies. That's a serious business that she's built.
Yeah, she's ridiculous. Whatever she touches turns to gold. It's insane. But so speaking of, what's been your highest rank in some of the businesses you've done?
So I've always been in Amway. I've been with the same people in the same business. You know,
Okay.
I've never jumped around. You know, there's also a lot of legality.
So you've been in Amway for 12 years?
Since I started. April 2006, I've been in Amway. So our goal is to go diamond, probably about 2 years. You know, I had 4 kids. I spent some time with my kids, but it's halfway to diamond as Founders Emerald. You know, we'll break what's called our fourth platinum leg this year is what we're projected to do. So we do very well with it. But diamond, I'd say in the next 2 years or so.
Do you keep product at your house, or does everybody just buy online now?
Everyone buys online.
My mom's upline.
Product.
That was the one thing my mom's upline was, you know, he had a basement that was his office and it was a whole warehouse.
You had to then. I mean, the whole business model pre-e-commerce was a whole different animal. There was a whole different level of complexity and investment necessary.
Is there still room in the business for people to be as successful as you are starting almost 20 years ago right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the culture is better than it's ever been. I mean, entrepreneurship, personal development, social media, you know, I don't know how, you know, we're starting to do some integrations with AI and stuff, you know, who knows where that's going to take things. But I one of the things that can't get replaced is one-on-one mentorship and coaching and community. And the amount of community that you can get and this positive association, a framework of education, a vehicle to apply it to, I think that the viewpoint and the projection for network marketing is great. I mean, I think I'm bullish on it. You know, and if you look at the stats, I mean, direct sales has grown significantly. I mean, I think direct sales is like 250 billion a year now. You know, I mean, it is a massive segment of the it's a massive industry versus other sizes of industries.
When they talk direct sales, they're not talking lumping in Amazon and eBay, are they?
No, they're talking about network marketing or direct sales like a Kirby vector marketing type thing.
Okay.
At least from the research.
So difference, you and I, this is funny. That's about when I started Amway Quick Start. It was like late 05 into 06 or something, like the exact same time.
Yeah, so we were in the same time. You know, thing was a Wild West. We didn't have the way that we do everything now is so different than what it was, you know, from what we were doing then. I mean, I feel like network marketing got stuck in the 80s and they created tremendous success in the 80s and they just never updated most of their business models or their approaches to match the current culture in a way that made sense. You know, and a few people have, they've become very, very successful at it. You know, we've emulated some things, innovated a little bit of things, but yeah, so it was the same time frame. I went.
Is it still building wide, 8 across and then down?
Well, yeah, Amway's compensation structure, you're paid based on the amount of legs you have and then how big it is ultimately. You know, right. So it's both of those. That's why those binary systems, because there's really 4 main types of network marketing compensation plans. They have unilevel, which you just get paid at one level down, really simple, not a lot of upside. You have Matrix, which is super weird. I don't know if anyone even does that anymore, but like you buy a box. So like it's 5 by 6, but like if the seventh person down is the biggest person ever, you make no money on it. You just make money on the box. Binary was really interesting. It's a lot simpler to understand. Everybody has 2 legs. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. People are throwing stuff down it. But so it's a little bit simpler to understand. Amway's compensation plan is complex. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of different elements to it, but it does create a really, really, it's very well-rounded. Unlimited stair-step breakaway, it's called. Same thing as Herbalife, where you get paid as big as a business gets, as big as it gets. Obviously, it's diminishing returns, but you're getting paid on all of it.
Sure. And the one thing I liked about the binary, because when binary first came out, everybody was so excited because all you had to do is get 2 and then teach those 2 to get 2. But the problem was you get a runaway leg.
Sure. Always.
And then you're not getting paid, right?
Always.
But then they made it the equal binary where it would swap people around so it would even everything out. And, that's when I was like, all right, they're doing that right.
Yeah.
So if I put somebody on my left leg, but my right leg needs them, they'll move it over and then just keep it equal. Where, when I was looking at, this is, oh my gosh, I'm dating myself. I was looking at STS. I don't know if you remember STS. It was the phone cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like MCI back in the day.
I was in Excel. I did very well in Excel.
Okay.
I didn't do much sponsoring in Excel. I had lots and lots of customers because I was living in Texas and I'm from Jersey, and all my friends in Jersey would be like, I'd be like, what if I could show you how you could cut your phone bill in half? Well, how much is it going to cost me? Nothing. All you got to do is sign up. Well, then sign me up. And I'd get paid on every time they make a long distance call. It was great.
Nice.
And so I did really well. And actually, funny story how I got into it. I used to tour with rock bands and as their security. And I was backstage with Ted Nugent.
Nice.
And he has a hunting club and they meet before shows. So there's hunting clubs in all the cities.
Okay.
And we're in Dallas. And 2 of his friends came in and they pitched him on Excel. And I sat and listened because obviously, growing up as an Amway kid, I could do the compensation plan in my sleep at 8 years old,
Yep.
And I'm listening to it. And he goes, you seem pretty interested. I was like, I'm just trying to hear how you get paid, And he's like, well, what do you think? I was like, it doesn't sound like it's that hard, or I was like, it sounds pretty good. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so Ted Nugent goes, all right, I'll sign up, and he's my first sign up. So
Nice.
sponsored by Ted Nugent. I didn't do anything for me, but the Dallas team was phenomenal. Here's the problem with multi-level marketing, where I kind of lost my fizzle. I was doing really well with Excel. Like I didn't have to work, and I worked part-time as touring, and Excel was paying the bills.
Nice.
And the team in Dallas was we were all like family, and it was 600-700 strong. It was huge. Dallas is a big city.
Yep.
I moved to Florida and they go, all right, there's an Excel office there. We'll transfer you over, blah, blah, blah. I went over there and they're like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? They're like, you're not from here. You're not our team. I'm like, so I was getting transferred over. They're like, nope. I'm like, out, done.
That's wild.
I was like, you guys are that greedy, And then I just got back into the car business, and I don't know if you know anything about the car business. It's like heroin. You chase the dragon forever. So